right, ready? Well, we're finished. No, we're done.
We're done. I know. It's like
The light's too much. Yeah, too much light.
Oh.
Yeah. Just shut the camera light off. Just shut that light off, the main light there. Okay, not enough light now.
What if I go to that? That looks nice.
Yeah, just shut that light off.
Change the mode or
Change the mode. Yeah, go to the last one. Yeah.
oh, that one.
Yeah.
Clear.
Well, you see why there's so much light on one side of us? I don't get it.
Mike over here. It's working those.
Alright. Now we have a lighting problem. Now we have too much light.
I don't know. I wish I did.
It's not your fault, Steve.
Okay.
That's what I see.
Oh, she says I can hear and see you.
Oh, that's nice. That is so nice. Showing knew what we were really thinking.
Oh, I can just imagine.
Right. Well, she probably knows. She knows.
I bet she does.
All right. Well, here we are. Romans chapter 1. We're still discussing some of the things and passages from that chapter. And I know you've had some questions prepared. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, I most certainly do. Our first question is in Romans 1:20. How are God's invisible attributes clearly seen in creation? It kind of speaks for itself, but that's a question people ask.
Well, what are some of his attributes? In other words, his omniscience, all-knowing, and omnipotence is all-powerful. So these are two attributes that, when looking at creation, the sun, the moon, and the stars, you have to say, what kind of being could create such a thing?
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And in the universe as we know it today, science knows it today, is more precision making than some of the greatest watches ever made. It's so precise in its turning and rotations and speed, the speed of the earth and its turning mechanism that the Bible talks about, that it does these things. And we have to see that there was design in that, because the earth spinning too fast or too slow, we couldn't have an atmosphere and life. And so, again, showing the omniscience of God and how everything works together, how plants need human beings and how human beings need plants. And, it's just how their chloroform is similar to our hemoglobin blood, but there's a minor difference. And it, it, it flows through a plant to help it survive and to live, just like blood, right? And so we look at this design, we look at the universe, we look how vast it is, how eternal it seems to go on and on and on forever.
Yeah.
And so these are attributes of God that God says should be clearly seen and recognized, that someone made this, someone created this.
Right.
And that's why it's so absurd, so demonic to teach evolution. It's so anti-science. Evolution is so anti-science. It's unbelievable, of things that we actually know today, and to believe that matter could design such a universe and such a planet to live, and have life.
Yeah.
And
I like the analogy, because before you say, if something explodes, how many perfectly round circles is it going to happen?
That's right. Right.
Yeah, so
And what's the chances of that happening? You at least get one square, right?
you might.
One triangle, something
Close.
oblong at least.
Right.
And that's not the case.
Mm,
Every sun, moon, and star, well, star, planet, and moon are round.
perfectly round. Yes.
Well, from our perspective, they look perfectly round, rounder than a cue ball,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From the distance in which you have to observe it,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
But if you were to blow up a cue ball to the size of the Earth, it would be inhabitable, you know? So again, the Earth is perfectly round
Yeah. Just
for
amazing.
its size.
Yeah.
And so is the moon, and so is the sun, and so are all the planets. As you look at all of them
Yeah. Yeah.
from a distance, they look perfectly round like a cue ball.
That's true.
And so God says it's futile to do that,
Mm,
and His attributes are clearly seen. These at least these three attributes that you could, as we know, like I said, the universe is eternal.
mm,
And here's the interesting thing: we call it the universe, right? But we never think about where that word comes or what it means. In Latin, uni is one,
mhm.
and verse is sentence. Hmm. So when you put the two together, you get what? Uni being one, verse meaning sentence. So
One sentence.
or first,
Or first sentence.
right?
Hmm.
I wonder what the first sentence of the Bible is.
In the beginning,
Hmm.
God created
The heavens
the heavens
and
and
the
the
earth.
earth.
The universe.
Amazing. Huh?
Amazing that science, they call it what it is, and yet they deny what the Bible says.
Yeah.
They call it the universe,
Yeah.
but they deny the verse in which it comes from.
That's amazing to me because I mean, scientists, they're
Mhm.
usually pretty smart people.
No, there's a
Like,
difference between intelligence
mm,
and smart. They're usually intelligent people, but smart people figure this out.
yeah, that's true.
It's a big difference.
Mm,
You know, they think they use their intelligence and elite to manipulate people's truth.
mm,
Right? They make um, a poster that they hand out to high school science teachers to put on a wall. It says, "This is evolution." It has
oh yeah,
the worm or whatever that is floating around, and then it becomes a man, and then in the middle they have the missing link, but they have a picture of the missing link there.
mm,
But what they don't tell you, it's actually missing. It's not there, but they put a picture
mhm,
like it was found. The missing link was found,
yeah, yeah.
and the actual truth is in science, it has not been found. It will never be found.
So
There is no transitional.
so you think when a person believes that, or a scientist believes that, is that a debased mind, which we were talking about,
Correct.
and which will lead to a
Yeah.
um,
Depraved mind.
yeah,
It's a depraved. I think, yeah, it's a depraved and then the base.
reprobate. I think
Reprobate. Yeah,
mind. Yeah,
reprobate mind. Yeah, it becomes a reprobate mind.
right.
And listen, everything had to exist at the same exact time to exist.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Science tells us that we're all dependent on each other.
Mm,
It couldn't all slowly come in to play one at a time. In other words, for plants to live, for a plant to survive, there's some things it needs, right? One would be land, two would be water, three would be the sun, right? And four would be what we breathe out. Don't ask me what it is, because I always get the two confused.
no common.
Go ahead if you think you know.
Oh my goodness! I know.
Maybe dioxide means
Carbon monoxide.
monoxide. It has to be monoxide because
Carbon dioxide.
dioxide seems like die is
Yeah,
in it,
it would
right?
kill you. I think it would kill
So someone let us know. But that's
you.
what mammals breathe out.
Hmm.
Plants can't live without it.
Right.
And we can't live without plants. And how long do you think a plant could survive while the sun is forming? It can't happen.
Right.
And the idea is you have to have water. And here's the biggest problem with evolution and their teaching of where water comes from. They say that the earth was a molten fireball. Fire. Well, the last time I checked, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that fire sucks up all the oxygen in the room.
Correct.
So call me crazy, call me, ignorant, but I believe water is made up of one part oxygen, H2O. So again, I don't know what miracle the evolutionist is trying to pull on us,
Mhm.
but you cannot get water from fire.
Mhm.
You can't do it. It eats up there. You'll never have water. And if there's no water, every scientist knows this. No water, no life. Even bacteria needs life.
Mhm.
So, got some verses here. What do we got?
Oh yeah, we got Romans 1:20-23. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power in Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
Mm.
Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God. Nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise,
Mhm.
these scientists,
Mhm.
they became fools and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man,
Yeah.
and birds, four-footed animals, and creeping things.
All right, Steve, I'm going to ask you to do something very challenging for me.
Carbon dioxide is
Mm.
exhaled.
Oh, so we were wrong. So we were.
I was thinking about that as you
Yeah.
were saying it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. All right. You're going to go over to those lights very slowly, Steve. Take your headphones out, and there's a dimmer switch on them. And we're going to try to dim them down because one side of us is getting sunburned.
Okay.
And so it's up the top. The top. Yeah.
This is up or down?
Yeah.
Down, right?
Yeah. Everything down is down. Yep. Try the other one. Keep going a little bit more. All right. And now turn this camera on and see if we can maybe balance it out a little bit. Oh, turn it back off.
Okay.
All right. Just turn it down just a little bit, I guess. And this camera's just there, I guess. That's the best this camera's going to do, I guess. All right. Sorry about that. I thought it maybe would work.
That's
We're
okay.
trying. All right. So yeah, I think that's how we know um, that God's attributes are clearly seen. He's a perfect scientist,
Mm.
right? He knew all these things had to exist at the same time with age.
Mm.
With age, you can't wait for grass to grow. It has to be there. You can't start out with a seed and then hope that survives. Had to all be at once to produce the oxygen that we need
Is
to
it
live.
in the beginning, right? There's an order and where he
Yeah,
made things, right?
right. And it fits scientifically perfect.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, that first it had to start off with water. Again, every scientist knows this. No water, no life. And that's how the earth began. Water. Then light, but this was his light. The sun wasn't created yet, right? And so God shined the light on this universe and on this planet. And then, he made land, sea creatures, plants, right? Birds,
Mm-hmm.
all those kinds of things. And they need to breathe, right? And then day 4, he made the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the other planets. So people, this is why people say, "Oh, there's ancient life out there." No, there's not. We're the oldest planet there is. We're the ancient planet. All the other ones were created on day 4. Then I'm trying to think. Day 5, maybe day 5, all the sea creatures were made. I have to look at it again. But anyway, there's an order to it.
Right.
And then on day 6, human beings were made along with the rest of the mammals. Plants can survive probably a day or so without our. But other than that, they,
Right.
what we breathe out. This is crazy. What they're trying to reduce carbons in the air, and you're like, listen, we need carbons so plants can grow healthy. It's ridiculous, man. It's almost like they're trying to kill us off. They're trying to kill the environmentalist wackos.
Mhm.
Think that we're overpopulated. Okay, listen, they're free to jump off a cliff, right?
Yeah.
See ya. You first. And once they're all gone, okay, I guess we'll be okay.
Mhm.
But it's amazing. Who do they want to leave the planet? I wonder. Well, there's only one other person that's a murderer like that and doesn't like human life. There's one classic person. So,
And there's
enough said.
I know that
Anyway.
I might have my definitions mixed up because first came in my head was Democrat, but then then say
There are synonyms out there. When I say devil, you say Democrat.
Exactly.
All right? So, there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, give us some synonyms for a Democratic voter. Devil, demon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're possessed, I think.
Well, I mean, how can you have anyway? But God makes that clear. Every Christian should be clear on the creation of the universe. God's very disappointed in that, and there's a reason why. Is I'm sure you have some more questions concerning that.
Well, the next question is, what is the significance of the statement meant in Romans 1:22 that professing themselves to be wise, they became fools?
Right. Then they have a PhD, DMC, QRS, TUV license.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, we're the most intelligent beings on the earth." Okay, professor, where does water come from? Oh, well, why not? You're a fool. You should know that you cannot get water from fire.
Right.
It's foolish.
Yeah.
It's foolish. And you call yourself a scientist,
Mhm.
but they exhort this power over people. And so it's very shameful behavior of people with elite minds. And I'm not quite sure why they think that way, but they they've been given great minds. There's no doubt about that.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they filled it with garbage because they hate God and they think themselves smarter than God. They think they can invent a way that nobody could debate.
Yeah.
But the truth is you can't outsmart God.
Right.
You can't outsmart God.
Yeah. I think for their quest for trying to find an answer for all this, is just beyond them. Just like some of the things that, in the Bible was just so, or about God, it was so beyond our minds we can't understand. But I think that's just their way of trying to figure something out, and it's made up, obviously. But I like what we have here. It's day 1, light was made. Day 2 was the atmosphere and the firmament. Day 3, dry ground and plants. 4, sun and stars, birds and sea and creatures, and land and human, land, animals, and humans. So there was an order.
Yeah, it had to be in that order precisely for everything to symbiotic work together.
Right.
And it had to all be mature. It can be a chicken egg,
Right. Right.
right? A chicken egg isn't gonna, right? You gotta have a rooster and a hen. Everybody knows that, right? It's called the birds and the bees.
Yes.
You learn that a long time ago. You can't wait a million years for another species like yours to appear. You want to talk about a miracle? That's a miracle.
That would be.
That's like the Princess and the Frog, right?
Yeah.
Hey, like, I'm alone here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I kiss enough of these frogs or wait, one will become a prince. Or you could just believe God created a man and a woman, just like he created all the animals, male and female.
Mm.
You can believe that, which is less foolish than to believe a fairy tale, right? That you have a prince looking for a princess or a princess looking for a prince. So the magical ingredient to get two human beings is to wait a million years. And hopefully they're different sex so they can reprocreate. I mean, what's the chances of that? What's the chances of two oozes getting together?
That's right. Yep.
And what gave them life?
Yeah.
They say the sun. The sun gives life? Okay, Mr. Scientist, let's try it. Let's go down to Florida, summer, right? Middle of summer, July. Let's go. Let's see how much life the sun gives you.
Mm-hmm.
You stay out there, I'll stay in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
You stay out there all day. See what happens. Let's see if you start feeling good. Feel more energized.
Mm-hmm.
Feel alive. No, it will kill you. It will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
The sun can't give life. Right? But that's not the first time. The wise worshiped the sun and made everybody else worship the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over Egypt.
Yeah.
Ra, the sun god.
Yeah.
The evolution says the sun made life. Yeah. A worm under there, two M's.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing survives
Yeah.
sunlight.
No.
But they say, no, it just shine down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Shined on a puddle of ooze and all the chemicals came together and two oozes made out.
Yeah.
Made another ooze that was better than the last ooze. But he didn't have an ooze. Yep. So I don't know what he did. Guess he waited for the sun to make another ooze just like him. Or God created Adam and Eve as mature human beings, just like everything else. They say, well, Tony, how did all the sunlight get here? How did all the stars? It takes, a million years for that. Well, we'll see. No, full male and female, a mature, just like the garden, grown trees, right? They didn't have to wait for the food to grow; it was already there, right? Could you imagine God putting in the garden? Well, I don't know when the next time you're going to eat, but whenever that tree gets, big and strong enough, then you can have something to eat. A couple of years. Right. No, it was all mature. It was all mature. I mean, that's not a stretch. And it has to be that way. You cannot wait for all these things to mature, to have the kind of environment in which we see. And call it time. Mm. Time is their God, Prince plus time and frog. There you go. Well, yeah, they make movies like that. Yeah. Disney makes millions of dollars. They're called fairy tales.
You're right, exactly.
But you call it science.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, Steve.
Crazy talk. It is crazy. Crazy talk. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, Democrats. Then we have some spy Republicans.
Good eye.
who say the same thing, right? All right, one more.
All right. What does it mean that they exchanged the truth about God for a lie, which is in Romans 1:25.
Right.
That's kind of what we've been talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, they really have exchanged it. They make you take an evolution course.
Right.
If you want a bachelor's degree in science, you have to take it.
Yeah.
They force it down your throat. And everybody's in there just eating it up. And these guys, with fancy letters, after their name,
Yeah.
and they give them, here's my 10 grand, here's my 10 grand. Tell me some more lies. I mean, it's no different than the philosophers or the, schools back in the day,
Mhm.
it's just sad that we have the Bible. God gives a clear account of the universe. It's not a fairy tale. It's not. It's literal,
Mhm.
and it matches up scientifically, and it fits to the science that we know. And yet, they would rather believe a fairy tale
Mhm.
of evolution than the simple truth that there was a creator that made all things. And they exchange it. They'd rather have that because I guess then you can define your own morality when there's no God.
Mhm.
And that's where we're going.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
that there's no absolute truth. There's no absolute authority. There's no absolute moral standards in which the human race is held to.
Right.
So this is the reason
Yeah.
for the problems we have. Well, all good questions. I know
Yeah.
we'll get this kind of figured out what the issue is with the camera,
Mm-hmm.
and well, we're going to end there.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us. Well, we got a couple more verses. What do we got? Day 1, day 2, day 3. Yeah.
Yeah. We just went through that.
All right. Thanks for putting those things up, and try to join us 7 p.m. here on YouTube.